Welcome to CyberCEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. CyberCEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. All right, another day, another episode of CyberCEO. I'm your host. My name is Jello. Now, we are very lucky to have one of our cyber CEOs here in Cyberbacker. Shawn, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic, my friend. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, we are very glad that you made the time, of course, for this show. So my first question for you, Shawn, is how long have you been in partnership with Cyberbacker?
It has been over 3 incredible years.
3 incredible years. How has it been so far?
You know, it definitely has exceeded the original expectation. I could remember a little bit of the hesitancy and kind of feeling unfamiliar when I was getting ready to get started with the program. And it's just been an incredible partnership.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Now, let me share with you the goal of Cyberbacker just for our listeners to know as well, okay? So Cyberbacker has a goal to create 15,000 jobs by December 31st, 2025, and profit share 5 million back to its associates while, of course, partnering with business owners like yourself. Now, typically who work with us because of our business. So for those listening at home, Shawn, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Shawn Pollard. I've worked for Keller-Williams International for about 4 years. I started about 4 years ago. That's when I first started with Cyberbackers, and then I broke off, and now I have an expansion real estate team called the Dean Team, where we're in 7 states in multiple market centers, and we're a growing large team, which has a lot of complexity around it when you try to do it alone.
That's great. That's great. Own team, own business, own brokerage. Now, let me ask you, you've been working with Daniel, as you mentioned, for 3 years now, over 3 years?
Correct.
All right. Now, what can you tell me about him, the way he works, the day-to-day tasks?
Well, I have 2. I'll start with Daniel. So about a year after I brought Daniel on, I brought on 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 onto the team. Yet Daniel was my original cyberbacker. So when we got started, you know, I really felt that he was just going to be doing some basic tasks in the background. And really, after a few weeks, I realized that he was going to become an integral part of my daily activities. In fact, I always talk about it. It's a partnership. And Daniel and I have built an incredible amount of trust, friendship, and he exceeds my expectations every single day. I also brought on 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃, and we could define their roles for you if you want. It's all of my social media and marketing. So 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 handles all of the tasks around my Facebook, Instagram, marketing materials for our team, and she is my incredible source of broadcasting all of the messages out to our social programs and then understanding the marketing for the team. Daniel is our director of operations, so he's in there with all of our data, helping to control our database, organizing campaigns, and really importantly, he runs my email, my calendar, and is anything that he has the ability to speak as me. So meaning he can set appointments, and he just does a fantastic job for me also.
Well, I love that you mentioned that he can speak just like you. Is that what you said?
Absolutely, absolutely. Both 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗃 and Daniel, I've worked with them so long, and I have such trust, and they're such professionals. They're very polished. They speak for me. In fact, I give them the ability to do that because we collaborate. It's not I give them tasks and expect them to check them off. We just got off a call this morning where they took some of the content and the resources that we were building, and they critiqued, improved, and produced a better program. We really work in collaboration. So it's really been an incredible partnership to have both of them on board.
I love that partnership. There are a lot of, let's say, people out there that have their own assistants, have their own virtual assistants that really don't have that kind of relationship, that partnership relationship. So let me ask you, Shawn, what makes this kind of relationship a successful one?
I think the most important thing is making sure that, and I also have a business partner that utilizes them also. I just
Mhm.
want to say that also, Aaron Dean, we own the team together. I think that the biggest thing that I could say to somebody is, first and foremost, you got to get out of your own way. I went into the first conversation with Daniel, and I had spent the weekend typing up a list of activities and things that I felt that he would be able to perform. And that list was really not the list that I should have been giving him. What I would recommend people do when they take on a virtual assistant, let's not even call it a virtual assistant, a partnership.
Yes.
When they take on a partner, the most important thing to me is your partner has to know your strike zone. And when I say your strike zone, what is it the things that you should be doing consistently every single day to be successful? How do they improve that strike zone? And then how do they keep all of those other tasks that come up throughout the day from affecting your strike zone? That's the most impactful thing that you could do with a partnership. And that's what we were able to do. And it was literally Daniel who started to say, why don't I do this for you? That seems to be taking up a lot of your time. Why don't I do this for you? That seems to be something that you're not good at. You're struggling at a little bit. When I got over myself and my own ego and let him get more ingrained in my life, and then same with Frankie, then the relationship really flourished. And now I know my strike zone and they know their strike zone. And together we have great collaboration.
That's the one most important thing. Of course, the communication between you and your partners, which are the cyberbackers, right? They need to know what your strike zone is. When you say that is the things that you need most help on. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think it's that whole thing of being real with each other, being authentic. I think a lot of times when we get in, it doesn't need to be a virtual partnership. It can
Mm-hmm.
be a partnership in the office, but so often we're not truly open and meeting each other halfway. When you literally do that, and you find out what are the activities and the things that they can take off of your plate to keep you in your money making activities, or I like to call it the strike zone, that's when you really start to flourish, and that's when we really started clicking. And I'm telling you, it's fun. It's outstanding, especially this day of Zoom, where we're all
Yes.
Zoom was not, all the changes to the world and the pandemic didn't affect me at all, as far as the operations of my business and the communication that had already established. In fact, it enhanced them, and then we rolled that into other relationships we have with our agents. So it's an incredible platform. Yet I don't think that we. I think we get in the way of making it the best relationship because we try to hold on to tasks that we think we need to be doing when we really shouldn't be doing them. We should be doing those activities that make us money.
I think that's one of the main challenges of some of the clients that are going to be partnering with their own cyberbacker, letting go of those tasks that they were kind of used to doing, right? How did you handle that? How did you cope with that?
No, I think it was, and like I said, I was so blessed that I built a friendship with Daniel. I mean, literally, this is when we got started. I couldn't believe how well we got along, and we, I learned a lot about him and what's going on in his world, where he came from. He had an incredible background, as with Frankie, an incredible background. I mean, of education, of different jobs that they had. I really kind of got into conversation on what their skill set was and what they've done in the past. Then, as we kind of, I like to say, stumbled through the first week or two or three, where I was holding on to things that I'd say, hey, let me do this and I'll get it to you. And then he would say, hey, I know how to do that. And let me do that for you. And then take a look at it. I'd look at the finished product and I'm like, wow, that's better than me. So I think it's that process of letting your ego down, lowering your ego, opening up what your business is. What are the things that you do within a day? So we started where we would each morning, and it's such a great morning. It would be a cup of coffee at in my time. I start early, 5:30 in the morning. I'd be on the
Oh,
phone on a Zoom meeting with him, and we'd go through the daily activities, and we would talk about keeping me in the money making activities or that strike zone. And then he started filling in the blanks. Let me handle setting this meeting. Let me reach out and get this done. And I started saying, you know what? Why don't you just take the entire calendar over so that you can manage that for me and just tell me where to go. Okay, Daniel? I mean, like literally just tell me where to go. And it got to the point where then he'd be sending me text messages. Hey, you know what? Be sure you're watching out for this. I would be taking the kids to school. I would be, I mean, sometimes recreational things. I would be go out and get a workout in, I remember once playing golf and getting a text message. Hey, so-and-so is looking for you. What do you want me to tell them? Or do you want to jump on a quick call? Let me know. And he literally became my counterpart, my alter ego, my double. And then I felt that leverage and that stress go away. So to answer your question, and I know that's a lot right there.
Yes.
Specific, it's to just let go of your schedule, let them know what your business is all about, let them get into your world and learn more about what their skill set and background is. These are incredibly intelligent and well-trained individuals, and let them do their job.
It's perfect. That's perfect. Now, we already mentioned about the time you relieving some stress. How much time did they save you when they started working with you and your team?
I would say it is more than, they've saved me the power of 3. I mean, I would be working the equivalent of 3 times as much or more. They absolutely have things structured. The amount of work that you can get done by getting them on the phone, getting the text messaging, getting on Zoom calls. Once they really get comfortable with how I communicate and what this job is and what our business is, the amount of things that I pass off to Frankie and Daniel throughout the day are countless. So I would say it's the power of 3 to 4 times the amount of time that I'm saving.
Wow, that's a lot of time saved there. So you already mentioned a few things that they do for your team. Anything else that they're currently doing that we haven't talked about yet?
I think the best thing that I have to describe this in the right way, but I can't overemphasize somebody watching your email. Can't overemphasize somebody watching your calendar, watching your social media, and sending out and connecting with other social media platforms for you, with the responses and the introductions that you create for them. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded with our cell phones, with being on Zoom meetings now. And like literally my business right now is running while we're having this conversation. So when I get off this Zoom, I already have heard multiple texts come in. There's emails that are populating, and I know they are controlling all of that. If there's a 911 or there's a real situation, I'm going to get a phone call. Yet the ability to be able to spend quality time with someone like yourself and enjoy being and really enjoying this conversation is incredible. It's not just in business. I can say to them, hey, it's been a long day. I'm going to take a walk with my dog and the family down at the beach. I mean, let me know if anything comes up. That conversation happens a lot. That's just me being authentic, and I need that time. And they do it, and they're there, and vice versa. I always want to respect their time and make sure that they are getting their rest and relaxation in, because they do just a phenomenal job for me.
Based on what you're saying, Shawn, what I feel is that you just don't have that kind of partnership with these cyberbackers. You also have a friendship with them. Am I right?
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, to the point of, with Daniel, I remember the first year, he'd just been working with me a few months. On Christmas Eve, his dog was sick, and I was text messaging him wanting updates, and we share pictures of our animals and recipes. They give me incredible Filipino recipes and,
ooh, wow,
and things. And we have a lot of fun together. So we enjoy being on calls together. They're truly my confidants, and my family knows their name when I talk about Frankie and Daniel. And it's just it really is a wonderful partnership that I truly appreciate, and I grow more into it every single day.
Every single day. That's terrific. Now, these kinds of relationships, sometimes they can be rocky, right? Have you encountered any, let's say, challenges in the past that you had to go through with your cyberbackers?
Oh, sure. I mean, every relationship is that way. And those are the opportunities for growth. I love challenges. I love when things don't go right. The best thing can happen is when things break in the conversation. We've had language breakdowns, and while their language is incredibly strong, hey, I respect the fact when you talk to them, you can't not tell that they're in the Philippines. You would imagine that they're just sitting in our office in San Diego. Yet we've had language, we've had time situations, we've had technology gaps. There's been, maybe an email that went out where there was some word that just was misplaced or something like that. But those are the things that I laugh at, and I look for those to happen. I want things to break all the time, because then that's the opportunity to fix it and move forward. And they know that. They know that I'm a first downs, not touchdowns kind of guy, and I also am all about. I want when we have a challenge, when we have a misstep, we really support that. We endorse that, and then we say, okay, how do we prevent this from going wrong? And now they are always one step ahead of me. So that was how we started our conversations. Even today, working with a program that we're running right now to bring in more leads, Daniel's saying, this is what happened, and moving forward, this is what we're going to do. And I'm like, bam, 10-4. That's perfect. That he does it without me even prompting it. He's got the solution in play, and he's already put it in play with the team, copying me on text messages and emails, and now we're up and moving. And I didn't even have to deal with the issue.
So they did handle it on their own, just letting you know what they did, what happened, and what they're going to do moving forward. That's great. It's perfect. One step, let's say, of course, they're already making sure that they have a solution for what has happened. That's terrific. That's a great example of a great relationship right there.
But I want to bring up that also about what Cyberbacker has built there, and what the company really stands for, and what Craig has done is that they don't have the answer, they're going to find the answer. And that's what we want in our life. I don't want somebody saying they know everything. I want somebody saying, when I don't know something, I'm going to figure it out and do it the right way. And that's what Cyberbacker is. It's a constantly evolving. The training is so good. The networking, and if somebody has an issue with something, they can go back. They understand all the systems and models that we work under in our parent, real estate company. They're trained in them. So it is so connected in that growth process with your Cyberbacker. It is phenomenal. And to the point you made earlier on what your goal is, these are incredible individuals that have got incredible lives and are doing, wonderful things. I know so much about, what they're up to and what their passion is. And that's why this is such a great platform. They come and they develop as human beings also.
Of course. Again, when we partner with our clients, that is something that we want to make sure of, not just the personal growth of the cyberbacks, but of course, the growth of the business of our clients. So in that note, my last question for you today, Shawn, is there are a lot of people who are wondering or need advice on how or why they should be hiring a cyberbacker. Can you give them any advice?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I would ask them a question. I think everyone needs to ask themselves this about, especially around the real estate world that I'm in. The question is simple. Are you interested, or are you committed? Are you interested in being an agent and being a leadership role, or are you committed to the role? If you're committed to the role, you need to get somebody, and I'm not going to tell people what to do, but you should get a cyberbacker. The cyberbacker will find your strike zone and protect that. They're going to bring more value that you don't even know that you need to your world. And, it's a reflection of how committed you are to the business. So if you're really committed about growing your business, growing your income, growing more time with your family, which is a big thing for me, get a cyberbacker. And I don't want to sound like a homer on that, but it showed up huge for the last 3 years in my life. And, so many people are just interested. So I'm going to get somebody to help me out. They don't even give them a chance to get up and running, and they think it's not working. Well, they got to get out of their own head. They've got to say, I'm committed to this business, and this is what needs to happen. So they need to write down, what are the things they really need to be doing? What are the things that interfere with that? If you figure out what those two things are, and then you hire a cyberbacker and get authentic with them, you're going to see great results.
There we go. Now, as you mentioned, you really have to invest your time as well when it comes to these kinds of relationships, right? Time, of course, and effort to help the cyberbackers to succeed. So on that note, Shawn, I would like to say thank you, of course, and we would want to get more years within this partnership with you and your business. Thank you for your time today, Shawn.
Truly appreciate it, my friend. Have a great day.
You too, Shawn. So for our listeners out there, if you would want to save more time with your family as well, get your own Cyberbacker. And if you have any questions, just go to our website, which will be on the links. So, Shawn, again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of CyberCEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.